In Iran, U.S. officials say they've reached a tentative deal to extend a ceasefire with Iran, though President Trump hasn't signed off on it yet. The potential breakthrough comes just hours after the U.S. and Iran exchanged military strikes for the second time this week. Joining me now live to talk about these developments is political science professor Ian Hurd with Northwestern. Professor Hurd, thanks again for being with us. You and I sat together on the news 2 months ago. You called this war an impulsive war by the president, and that wins in all of this are kind of hard to define. Do you still see it that way?
Yeah, I do. Although in this case, it seems like the solution is pretty easy to see. So it's been clear for several weeks that this could end if the Americans agree to stop attacking Iran, and then Iran opens the Persian Gulf, the Straits, for petroleum ships. So that basic outline of an end game has been clear for a while. It's just taking a long time, especially for the Americans, to come around to realize that that's the best way forward.
So let's talk about the difference between the extended ceasefire and kind of bringing this war to an end. How do you see where things are right now and what we're going to see in the near term and how long it might take to get to sort of the end of all this?
Well, I'm pretty optimistic that we'll see reopening of the Straits soon, and the Americans will promise to stop attacking Iran. So I think that's in the cards. Whether the Americans can resist the urge to continue interfering in Iran is harder to know, but hopefully they can. You know, what's striking is the weird irony of all of this is that what Trump is about to agree to is what existed before. So this idea that that there's been some progress through this is funny, because attacking Iran was kind of such a backward step, and now he's trying to recreate the conditions that existed before, where oil was flowing through the Gulf and things, behave normally in commercial markets. So this has been a real waste of everybody's time, energy, and money, and many lives, unfortunately.
So when you look at off-ramps, given what you just said, is one of the key factors here for the president, again, this is a little bit of getting inside of his head, is it sort of, how does he look like he got a win out of something that doesn't have a win?
Yeah, if what happens is what's looks like it's about to happen, that is an agreement to stop attacking in exchange for oil flowing again, and then they'll talk about nuclear stuff down the road. I think the Obama administration should maybe sue the White House for plagiarism, because that's essentially recreating the Obama era agreement that Trump threw away when he first came into office. But for the people involved, it may be the best possible scenario, because it could end the American military action. It'll save American taxpayers lots of money, and the gasoline prices will go down.
Today, the U.S. Treasury Secretary warned Oman, which of course is an ally of the U.S., not to get involved, to impose a toll on the Strait of Hormuz, and it comes 24 hours after the president threatened to bomb Oman. How unusual is it for the U.S. to threaten a key ally like that?
Well, it's becoming less unusual, which is a real shame. The real fact here, I think, is that the White House has only just learned what everybody else in the world knew, and that is that the Persian Gulf is really important for the petroleum trade in the world. And since these countries dominate the shoreline of the Gulf and the Straits, they have a lot of power to interfere with the flow of ships through there. Everybody knew that, but it looks like the White House didn't think enough in advance to realize that these countries would have a lot of influence over what would happen if they choose to take a position against flowing petroleum. They have a lot of tools to make that happen. And the U.S. is not the most powerful player in the region.
Professor Ian Hurd from Northwestern, thanks again for your insight and analysis. Always greatly appreciate talking to you.
My pleasure.